What's up, friends? Welcome to Chaos Live. Haven't done one in a little bit, just, was busy with that whole Chaos Live tour and all that stuff. So, welcome all of you that joined right away with the whole probably notifications. Hopefully those work well. So, what's up, T-Dog, Sketchers Kid Gaming, A-Game, PlayStation, Jeff Damon, Pedro, Tyler, Eduardo, Jacob, all of you. You're awesome. Thanks for joining. So, if you are new, if you've never participated in a Chaos Live episode, well, welcome. And two, this is kind of just my chance to hang out with you awesome people that watch my content, subscribe to me, whatever, and answer any questions you might have, talk about stuff Army-related, possibly, sometimes other stuff. But usually we try to keep the main focus Army-related, but I don't mind veering off a little bit here and there. So, hopefully, everybody's doing great. And everybody is enjoying their Sunday. It's been a very busy day to me. I got relatives coming in town here soon, so I've been trying to get ready for all that kind of stuff. How is the music in the background, by the way? I don't know if I have it too loud or if it's not loud enough or whatever, but we're doing the music thing again, just to kind of have a little ambience to the background. That way when I'm taking a nice sip of my Rockstar, it's not dead silence. So, let's go through. I already see you guys are already blowing up the chat like crazy. Let's get to some of you guys' stuff you got going on here in the chat. So what's up, Jeff? Saying hi, Chaos. T-Dog 2000, can I be a mod sometime? Possibly. Usually I try to have people who are in these Chaos Live things quite often be a mod. I remember seeing you quite often, so probably pretty soon. I'd imagine if I maybe if I see you at the next live stream, maybe then or the one after that. I don't know yet. We'll see, but there's a good chance. You seem pretty cool. So, A-Game, how y'all been? My old phone, and then also Jacob, my old phone broke. I had to get a new one. Well, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. My day's been good. Sketcher Kids Gaming. Tyler saying, what's up? Good long day, but everyday life from A-Game. What's up, Eduardo? What else we got? We got a super chat right off the bat from Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. You're awesome. Lights are blinking because of you. In fact, I was going to try something. Do I have any room for it? No. I need to make it to where awesome people do super chats. Maybe I post your name somewhere on the screen somewhere. I need to work on that. But Tyler says, I've always been interested in the Army, but blind? You're blind? Is that what you mean? It's horrible, man. Or are you just blind to the military stuff? Wait a minute, if you're blind, you wouldn't be able to watch this unless you're just listening. But then you have to type that. I don't know. I'm confused. So, greetings from Arkansas National Guard. Awesome. Shout out my channel called The Meeper. Sure. The Meeper. It's amazing. I've never seen it. 25,000 subscribers, 50,000 subscribers, here we come. I hope so. We get to 50,000 subscribers, I'll do a special 2-hour version of Chaos Live and hang out with you guys for 2 hours. And then probably after that, maybe once we get to 100,000 subscribers, maybe I'll do a 24-hour one. I don't know. We'll try it, maybe something like that. We'll see. Southern Sun, what's happening? Hey, brother man, I finally was able to catch a live video. Sweetness. Well, thank you, Southern Sun. Welcome back to the live stream. An OG live stream participant. You the only YouTube who do this? No, there's if you're talking about military related, Matt Ward, he does some live streams every now and then. I think that's similar, I don't know. And then JT, who's Navy, he does some stuff like this, I know of. I don't know. Music is on point, good. Sketchers Kid Gaming says the music is great, good. Eduardo says the music is sweet. Okay, so it sounds like the music is good, not too loud. And then I got it, hopefully it works. Yeah, it does work. I got several different songs kind of on a repeat kind of schedule that hopefully adds to the ambience of it all. Chris asked last live stream but forgot, I want to join 11 Bravo. Can I go straight in as 11 Bravo? Or is it 11 X-Ray? If 11 X-Ray, what are the chances I will get it? So yes, it's going to be 11 X-Ray. It's kind of just essentially how they do it. You join as an 11 X-Ray, and then from there, certain people are going to become 11 Bravos, certain other people are going to become 11 Charlies, Mortarmen, The majority, though, do become 11 Bravos, but there is no guarantee, really, of being an 11, Bravo compared to 11 X-Ray or 11 Charlie. Sometimes Airborne helps, so if you really wanted to go Airborne, a lot of times they don't. I don't know if you can still be an 11 Charlie and be Airborne, but they usually want more of the 11 Bravos to be in the Airborne kind of side, so you probably can improve your chances of being 11 Bravo if you want to get Airborne. Otherwise, just play your chances, but the majority of people, when they go through OSIT, will become 11 Bravos, but you do always have that chance of becoming 11 Charlie, so it's just kind of a coin flip sometimes. Hey, it's good to meet you. Well, thanks, Sabrina. Welcome to Chaos Live. Was it Rivera? Love the vids. Well, thank you. That's awesome. Okay, let's skip through a little bit. You guys are blowing up this chat. Hi from Thailand. What's up? Tyler, I've been blind since birth. Yeah, dang. Must be. I wonder how. Is that complicated trying to do this? Are you just listening to the live stream, or is it just like a partial thing where you're just you can still see some stuff? So I'd imagine that'd make it very difficult. Hey Chris, how much do you love Rippets? I don't really like Rippets that much. I don't know, they have a weird taste to them. I'm definitely more of a Rockstar kind of guy, but Rockstars, like when I was deployed, were difficult to get. Rippets were easy to get because they had those like crazy. There was even times in the chow hall when they had what were they, Red Bulls, which those would go quick. People would be stealing those out of the chow hall like crazy though, so it was kind of nuts. Let's see, what did I do? Was there another part of that question? Oh, what was your ASVAB score? Probably pretty low. I'll talk about that a little bit more. Was it be this Thursday? This a little intel for you guys who are here at the live stream. Next Thursday's video is going to be on the ASVAB, and I talk a little bit about my ASVAB score. It wasn't very, very high, though, I don't believe, because I kind of goofed off when I took it just to get out of class. And I was an 88 mic. Can you name all the special forces in the Army? Like offhand? No. I know 10th Group. 10th Group is on Fort Carson, and there's quite a few other groups. There's 20th Group, which is National Guard. But no, not off the top of my head. If you weren't in the Army, what other military place would you going? I don't know. Don't think I quite understand the question. Will the live stream be regular from now on? Try to. It'd be hopefully the goal of every weekend, either a Saturday or Sunday. I was busy this Saturday, so I couldn't do it, so I was able to do it this one. Next week will be on Sunday because I am going to a UFC fight in Denver on Saturday, so I will not be able to do live stream on Saturday. So next weekend will be on Sunday most likely as well. Kind of see how it goes. It might be an iffy one if I get a chance to do that live stream, but I think I should be able to stream live next Sunday as well. Great music choice, by the way. What's your favorite band? Love the vids, by the way. Thanks, Josh. My favorite band, probably, even though I don't listen to them as much anymore, is Metallica. But I don't really listen to them as much. But as far as actually music that I listen to on a regular basis, it would either be like Motionless in White or maybe Parkway Drive, one of those two. Those are the ones I listen to the most, but I still always kind of keep Metallica as my favorite all-time band. It's not that bad. Yes, I'm using an iPhone just like everybody else. Hey, iPhone's pretty good. I got the iPhone XS Max, whatever it is, XS Max. So I like it. I'm just used to iPhone. There's better iPhones out there, but I got a tip for ROTC. Well, all right. Leave a tip. Do you smoke pot? No, I do not. Even if I wanted to, it would still be illegal for me, even though I live in a state that has it legal. But because I have a security clearance, I have to maintain that whole federal law kind of thing. So even if I was interested in smoking weed and everything, I still would not be allowed to because of my security clearance. Dude, Rockstar tastes like cardboard. Monster is better, cheapest for the best taste. Monster's okay. I think Monster has like a weird citrus taste that I'm not too big of a fan of, but I definitely like Rockstar better. Monster is the best, followed by Red Bull. The only thing I don't like about Red Bull is I feel like you can taste the can. So, thank you for your service, Chris, and God bless. Well, thank you, Split Spade. You have a knock-knock joke? Gary, welcome to the Chaos Army, if you are here in the live stream. Thanks for subscribing. Recently went to a recruiter. I'm considering joining, but I'm getting cold feet and don't know if I should join. Any words of encouragement? Really just, you know, if there's a job that you really want to do, then go for it. I mean, yes, basic training sucks. If you do OSIT sucks. But life gets better. You know, OSIT or basic is going to suck. You have to get through those 10 weeks of basic, or if you're doing OSIT, either the 14 or 22 weeks, depending on when you end up going to basic or OSIT, you know, and that time's going to suck. You know that. And then once you get past that, though, things start getting better. AIT gets a little bit better. There's still moments of AIT that suck. But once you're done with that initial training, it's a regular job. Sure, it's a really busy regular job. I mean, you're doing physical fitness in the morning. Sometimes you're working late. But hopefully if you're doing a job that you enjoy, at least you're enjoying being at work. And that helps a little bit. But that's kind of one of the key things, is making sure that, you know, you get into an MOS that you enjoy, that you will like, and you just got to go for it. You know, if it's something you really want to pursue, do the 4 years. If after those 4 years, you know, that initial contract, it's not something you want to do, get out, and at least now you have some great college benefits to get a good education. So that's a great way to look at it, is if you have, you know, get that experience in there. Employers love having, for certain employers, love having the person with military background, as well as, you know, you have that college that you'll get, the incentives that you'll get as well. Any opinions on legalized marijuana? Personally, I'm against drugs, so I don't approve of it. I don't know. I think I'm not for drugs really either, but I feel like marijuana, I've never used it, but I feel like marijuana has less kind of side effects as like alcohol. Alcohol is available, and that can ruin your kidneys and do all sorts of stuff. And I feel like marijuana doesn't have those same kind of side effects, but I don't know. I'm not a user, so can't speak from firsthand kind of use, but I don't really care too much as long as it's, you know, being regulated like alcohol. So it probably also kind of knocks down people from being able to, do those minor drug things and dealing marijuana and, you know, causing gang violence over something stupid like that. So I don't know. How do I get into airborne school? I've been told you don't always get to go to airborne school after basic and OSIT. Yeah, hey Jeff, it'll be like a thing where you have to usually talk to your recruiter. Was option, I forget what option it is, but there's an option. You can talk to your recruiter, you can get it into your contract to where you will go to airborne school after OSIT. So it's just kind of a thing you have to get into your contract. If you don't get into your contract, you can sometimes request it during OSIT. If you don't get it then it would have to be something you have to kind of request when you go to your first duty station. So just kind of depends. Have you heard of the Eye of the Tiger? Like from the song? I don't know what you're talking about. Eduardo, question, when will the next tour be? I have no idea. I don't know if I really do a tour like I did this last one again. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I think if I do anything, it'll be more of something like if I have a location where I'm going to do a video, either for a collab or for some other reason. Maybe I'll try to organize some kind of meetup along with that, but I don't know if I'll do a tour like I did before. It wasn't really that great of a turnout. I was excited to meet all of those that did come. That was awesome, and it was cool. But logistically and financially and all that stuff like that, as far as funds that I was using from the YouTube channel, it's not a good move to blow that kind of money without kind of having something else to kind of hopefully earn a little bit of revenue back, like doing another video or doing a collab with someone. So I need to probably organize it that way for the next time. Dude, Parkway Drive's newest album is on point. Pray and Hope You Rot are super good, but LOL, Metallica's newest one is so much worse. I like Metallica. I've heard some of the new Parkway Drive stuff, and it sounds pretty awesome. I like that. And then Metallica's new album, I like that one better than like Death Magnetic and Saint Anger. But yeah, those two albums kind of were growing on me a little bit, but I don't really choose to listen to them. But I don't mind if those songs pop up on the radio occasionally. But the new one, Hardwired Self-Destruct from Metallica, was pretty good. I like that one. How does that work, Chris? A security clearance? What is it exactly? It's like a really in-depth background check that they do on you, looking back at where you've lived, who's known you at those locations, what you've done in the past 10 years and a lot of other stuff to either get you a secret clearance or a top secret clearance. I have a secret clearance. I don't have a top secret because I don't need a top secret for what I do, but I do need a secret clearance. So I have a secret clearance, and then because I have that secret clearance, I have to basically abide by federal laws. So even though, like in Colorado, marijuana is legal, federally it is not. So because I have a federal security clearance, I have to abide by those laws. So, but because I'm also, my day job is a instructor for the U.S. Army, I have to have a secret clearance for that. So, hey Chris, hope you're well. Can't stay, but wanted to stop in and say hello. Take care, everybody. Well, thanks, Jay the Born. Thanks for stopping in. Ready for the weekend? Wait, ready for the next weekend? I am always ready for the next weekend, Eduardo. When is OSET being extended to 21 or 22 weeks after, or joining after high school? Graduation in 2022. Well, if you're going in 2022, yeah, you'll be doing the 22-week version. It's supposed to start sometime next year. I don't know when next year. They just said in 2019. It could be the beginning, could be the middle, could be the end of 2019, but at some point in 2019, they're going to be moving to that 22-week OSET for 11 Bravo, 11 Charlie OSET. So, but yeah, if you're joining in 2022, you'll get the 22-week version. If I have airborne in my contract as a 31 Juliet, does that mean I'm 100% going to an airborne unit? Not 100%. There's probably a better chance if you're doing airborne, because a lot of times they want to pull those brand new soldiers from basic training and airborne school into those airborne units. So there's probably a high chance of it, but not, I would say 100%. It's not guaranteed. Would you prefer being a Cav Scout or 11 Bravo, and why? I'm trying to figure out which one is best. Well, you're in luck, because Monday's MOS Monday is 19 Delta for a Cav Scout. But in my opinion, I don't know, I guess it depends. Do you want to be more on the like assaulting side and, you know, be more of that frontline kind of force of assaulting the enemy, or do you want to be more of the, you know, reconnaissance side where you're observing the enemy, observing their actions, maybe calling for fire on them, and occasionally doing some of those assaulting stuff? So it just kind of depends on some of those kind of things. Tyler with the 99-cent donation. Thank you. Thank you for the donation. Lights are flashing because of you. So, thanks for the donation. Or was I saw something? Happy Veterans Day. Right. Bombing up to you, brother. 19 Delta in the house. Well, what's up, man? Welcome to Chaos Live. There you go. There's a scout right there for you. They can tell you all about 19 Deltas. But yeah, tomorrow's MOS Monday will be the 19 Delta, the Cav Scout. So that is just a generic kind of basic rundown of the MOS. Not really in depth because obviously I was not a scout. I worked with a lot of scouts though. Scouts are cool. I have nothing wrong. Miss Papa Drip. Anyone else? Don't know who that was. UAV operator thoughts. It's pretty cool. I don't remember what the MOS is, but I don't know anybody. I've never known anybody that was actually a UAV operator, but it seems like a pretty good one. Do you think it's good for Trump to make a space military, the Space Force? I don't know. I feel like a lot of the tasks that they say the Space Force will do, the Air Force was already doing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go, I guess. Can you talk about the differences between CCT and Pathfinders? Off the top of my head, I don't know the difference between the two. I would have to look at them and kind of look at it and have a good understanding of it to be able to give some kind of good comparison. But off the top of my head, I wouldn't be able to tell you right now. Does everyone in the Army have to have a security clearance? No. Only certain MOSs and certain job fields. I originally ended up with security clearance because I was on the DMZ in Korea, and then I just maintained it from there. So you can't really get a security clearance unless you need a security clearance. That's another thing too. So you can't just ask for a security clearance because it's a lot of work that goes behind it that someone has to do to be able to grant you a security clearance. So if you don't need a security clearance, they're not going to give you one. But if you do get one, it's a great thing to try to be able to hang on to because it is very helpful for getting a job outside the military to have a security clearance if you want to get in that kind of work. Do you regret leaving the Army? No. I'm glad that I'm a civilian now. I am enjoying that civilian life. Civilian lifestyle is pretty awesome. Just trying to look to see how much time we've got going on here. Just trying to look at the little clock they got. We usually do these for about an hour, by the way, so we'll be here still for another a little more than about a half hour or so. So still got some time. Got a bunch of stuff still to do, some videos to edit, some work to do before family comes in town. So lots of things to do. Let's see. I remember 10 years ago I made something called the FFDL. It stands for Federal Freedom Department of Law, and I used the Declaration of Independence against the school rules. Not familiar with that. How high do I need for 11 Bravo on the ASVAB? I think I missed my question twice. That or it's not showing up. No, I probably missed it. There's a lot of these comments go pretty quick. But I have a video from the first MOS Monday that talks a little bit about 11 Bravos, and for that MOS you're going to need to end up scoring a 87. I made a mistake in the video and said 90, but I corrected it in like a little pinned comment because I made a mistake and said 90 when it was supposed to be 87. But you need to get it scoring 87 on the combat section of the ASVAB. And if you're not sure how the ASVAB is broken down, well, Thursday I have a video that is going to talk a little bit about the ASVAB and how it kind of gets broken up. So be on the look for that video on Thursday on the ASVAB. It'll help you out a little bit. How does owning a vehicle like in the Army? What happens to it when you are deployed? Do you need to sign papers before the Army lets you have it? So I talked about this in, what was it? It was last Tuesdays? The Tuesdays before that? What happens to my stuff when I deploy? That's part of that. It was part of that video where I talked about what happened to your car. But usually you can either choose to store it, or they have a storage facility that they can store it for you. But usually it's outdoors, so it is going to be exposed to the weather and everything like that. So just kind of be aware of it. But or you can leave it with a family or a friend. Some people will take their vehicles home, leave it with their mother, father, or whatever, or a relative. If you're married, you just leave it with your spouse. And then other people maybe choose to store it themselves, or if they want, they can store it with the Army, and that's usually outdoors. And then once you come back, then they try to get it for you, but sometimes it gets piled in there and gets stuck, and you have to wait for other people to get their cars out of the way. Is it just me, or is it the way that the Army MOS is super complicated, and I thought Navy rates were complicated? It's not too complicated. It's not too bad, I guess, when you're used to it. I don't know. I don't know from the outside. Do you miss the Army? No, I said that. I'm glad to be a civilian. Would being red flagged keep you from being able to join the Army? I don't know how do they flag you when you're not even in the Army? I guess it depends on what you're talking about as far as being flagged. So it depends on what it is you're meaning to be. May I ask, why did you choose the Army? Because originally I wanted to be a mechanic, and I figured the wheeled vehicles in the Army would be better, but I didn't end up being a mechanic, so I just stuck with it. What is the best memory in the Army? I don't know. I don't know what the best memory would be being in the Army. I guess some of the people. I met some cool people, some cool friends. A couple of cool things that I got to do, you know, being either celebrities coming to Korea or some concerts that came to Iraq. I don't know. Just mostly the people, though, probably. The people that I got to hang out with and, you know, make friends with. How do you get a secret clearance? Are there different level and types of clearance? Yes, there are different types. So to get a clearance, you have to be in some kind of field that requires it. So like, for example, like I said, I was on the border, so that required a security clearance. Sometimes working with certain pieces of equipment will require a security clearance. Sometimes certain, you know, positions that you're in the Army may require a security clearance. So if there is a need for the security clearance, then, you know, they'll probably let you know, and they'll have you fill out this huge packet. The different types of clearance, there's mainly two types, really. I mean, there's kind of other kind of categorization, but really the two main types, which is a secret clearance and then a top secret clearance. So that's kind of the main thing. But yeah, it's really, you can't just get a clearance just because you want one. You have to have a reason to need it before you can get a clearance. When you were talking about the MOSs, why didn't you say anything about the 17 series ones for the MOS video? Because I didn't talk about a lot of MOSs. If that's what you're talking about, if you're talking about that video that I did on the different MOSs in the Army, there's a ton of MOSs. So I really just kind of skimmed through a good handful of them, but I think there's like 120 something. So like I'm going to be trying to attempt to cover every single MOS that is in the Army with this whole new series that I've started doing called MOS Monday. And I think with there being like, I did the math, and basically if I do this series every Monday, is probably going to take me 2 years at least to get through every MOS. So imagine if I tried to talk about every MOS in that video when it's already going to take me 2 years to cover one MOS per Monday. So there was a lot of MOSs I had to skip just because the video would have been tremendously long if I talked about every single MOS that there is in the Army. There's like 120 something MOSs. There's a lot. So there's a lot that I had to skip. How was it relevant? Is racism in the Army? As a minority, I have always been told is a big problem in the ranks. From my experience, it's no different than the civilian world. I mean, I feel like maybe a little bit less because you're kind of forced to work with other people, and the consequences of you lashing out at someone for race can be pretty bad. So people either hide it really well, or it's maybe not as bad as maybe in the civilian world, where you can maybe kind of, you know, not have as big of a problem if you are being racist towards somebody. I mean, obviously you still have some problems in the civilian world, but I don't feel like it would be as extreme as in the military side. I don't know. I feel like it might be either the same or less in the Army. I don't feel like it's a huge problem. I'm sure there's maybe locations that may have it, maybe different units that may have some racism problems, but all my experience, I don't think I've really seen any big problems with it. Pretty much everybody seemed to get along pretty well. I mean, the people that didn't get along, it wasn't because of race, it was just because maybe that person was an asshole, not necessarily because of their race. So, but I don't know. I've never really seen a large problem with racism in the Army, in my experience. Can you request or volunteer for deployment? Not really. No, your unit deploys, and if your unit is going to deploy, then you go with them. If there's another unit deploying, you can maybe request to go with them, but for the most part, they want to take the people that have been training with them for deployments to go on the deployment. Otherwise, if they take new people, which they're probably still gonna have to take new people because there's gonna be new privates coming into the Army or whatever, maybe new officers, but they prefer to take people that have already gone through the training stuff. There is a video at some point that I am going to cover on that topic about, because I get this question a lot with people asking, can I volunteer for deployment? Does this MOS deploy? So I'm gonna have a little bit more of an in-depth video to kind of help explain that, hopefully for people to kind of let you know. But for the most part, you're gonna deploy if your unit is deploying. It's not really something you just volunteer for. Can I join, what was it? Can I join late entry program at 17 for a year to finish school? Yes, in some cases you can. You can join the Army and be you know, kind of, you get to do some of the training for it. Sometimes they'll let you go to basic and during the summer vacation of your between your junior year and your senior year, and then go to AIT or whatever afterwards. In some cases, I don't know how well that works or how, you know, how many people they let do that, but it just kind of depends. But in some cases, yes, you can. I think you have to have like your parent sign off on something if you're wanting to join at 17. But there are things that you can do at that age too. Like, for example, if he's still in the chat in here and still in live stream, Eduardo, I think he's 17, I think, or 18 or something. But I think he was able to do the delayed entry program while he's still in high school, and you get a little bit of experience, and that experience may allow you to come in maybe as an E2 or an E3 sometimes as well. So just kind of depends. I think MPs require a security clearance. I think so. There's certain MOSs that require a security clearance right off the bat, and then certain MOSs that don't. They just kind of depend on different duties that you're doing, whether or not you have to get a security clearance or not. But MPs might be one of them that you have to do that. What is the next MOS Monday? The next MOS Monday is a 19 Delta Cav Scout. Let's see. There's 180 MOSs. 179 are support, and combat arms. Go cook. Yeah, there's a lot of MOSs out there, so it's going to take a long time to probably try to get to all the MOSs with every Monday. And I'm kind of mixing it up, because if I go in order, it's going to take forever before I get to some of the more requested ones that people are interested in, like 68 Whiskey and stuff. So it's kind of getting mixed up based on people, what they leave in the comments of those videos as far as which kind of MOS I get to next. What is the next 2-Minute Tuesdays? Well, man, you just want all the intel, huh? You want all the dirty stuff. Next 2-Minute Tuesday is the tobacco use in the military. So there you go. I have actually, because I have relatives coming in town, I this weekend knocked out a bunch of videos ahead of time that I still have to edit, but that allows me to kind of get ahead, hopefully, and that way I don't have to spend too much time working on videos while my family's in town for 2 weeks, and I'll have a lot of that knocked out. But it also means, for anybody that's a member of the Patreon, if you want to join now, you can still as well, or people who are currently already part of the Patreon. Sometimes you get early access to videos, so there's a good chance that I'll have a couple of early access videos here soon for Patreon members. So there you go. Chris, how many people are in a unit? A lot. Depends on the unit. And it depends on what size you're talking about. A good idea to get an idea of that is looking for my video called, what is it, organization or something like that? Unit organization or army organization. Talks about what the average size of like a platoon, a squad, a battalion, a division, all that kind of stuff are. So if you're really curious about that, look for the organization video that I have that kind of talks a little bit about that kind of thing. How is AIT or Army in general for prior service Marines? Sometimes it just depends on how like recently you were in. A lot of times it'll be a lot easier compared to someone who's brand new in the military. That goes really mostly for like any prior service person, whether it's prior service Army or prior service, you know, Navy or Air Force or whatever. Then they have it a little bit easier if they're kind of recent to, you know, getting out of that branch. So, like for example, in AIT, prior service individuals won't stay like in the same barracks as everybody else is. They'll probably have a little bit better barracks that they stay at, and they don't have to, you know, do all the crummy stuff in the barracks. They go and they just have to probably be at PT. When they're done with PT, they go back to their nice little, you know, kind of like maybe like 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom little kind of like housing area or lodging that they have on post for those people, or those barracks for those people. And then they don't have to deal with the drill sergeants 24/7, and then they have to show up for class on time and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot more relaxed usually for prior service individuals. Would it be stolen valor if I wear World War II uniform? I have a friend who has to run to McDonald's for my unit for a reenactment. No, actually they repealed the whole Stolen Valor Act back in, what was it, 2012 or whatever it was. But the only problem usually I have to worry about still is people still feeling disrespected for wearing a military uniform. I'm sure if you're wearing a World War II uniform, though, nobody's going to care. People are going to think it's cool, probably. Be like, oh, cool, that's awesome. I think it'd be good. I don't think you have to worry about anybody lashing out against you for wearing a World War II uniform. Chris, is it true that Army basic training is extended 1 to 2 extra weeks longer, plus be more tougher on the physical fitness tests and combat training course? OSIT has been extended from 14 weeks to 22 weeks, which will take place sometime next year. Regular basic training, I think, is still the 10 weeks version for now. I don't know if they've talked about extending it an extra week or two. I haven't heard anything about them extending regular basic training, but as far as I am aware, it's still 10 weeks for standard basic training. Eduardo, I'm turning 17 on November 28th. Oh, I'm turning 17 November 28th? I don't know. Talk to your recruiter. They will work with you. Mine told me to show up to PT and assure them I will enlist, and they promised I will be promoted E2, maybe E3. So there you go. For whoever it was that was talking about trying to join when they're 17 and stuff and getting a little bit of a head start. Okay, thank you. I didn't know there were so many MOSs. Yeah, there's a lot. I have so many questions. I am sorry, because I feel like I'm bothering you. Nope, that's what Chaos Live is for you to ask questions and everything. And I try to get to as many as I possibly can during this live stream. But yeah, you can always leave comments and questions in like other videos as well, and I tried my best to get to those. Sometimes it gets difficult because sometimes there's a lot of comments, and sometimes there's only a couple comments coming in at a time, and sometimes I can keep up with them, and sometimes it gets out of hand and I end up missing some people's comments and can't really answer questions that people have. But no, you're not bothering me. That's why I do this, is so hopefully people who are curious about the military, either just for curiosity or for future military purposes, I like to be able to help those people out. So that is the goal. I've got 2.5 more years. I can't wait. Awesome, Skechers Kid. Have you ever gotten an Article 15 or any disciplinary article while you're in? I have never gotten any kind of Article 15. There's been times where I've gotten counseling statements for like stupid stuff or whatever, but no Article 15s. That was pretty good. Not even old enough to enlist. Well, you'll get there. You get there at some point. Do I need parental consent to talk to a recruiter at 17? Do I need to bring a parent with me or a brother who is currently in the Army as a 35 Fox? No, you shouldn't need any kind of parent to talk to a recruiter. But if you want to do any kind of signing up for the Army at that age, then they usually have a form that you have to have a parent sign off on to allow you to start the process at 17. Otherwise, you have to wait until you're 18. I am prior military myself, Navy. You're doing a great job, brother. Thank you. Well, thank you, James Brady. Appreciate the words of encouragement, and welcome to Chaos Live. If you weren't Army T, is that stolen valor? No. Like I said, technically, stolen valor doesn't exist anymore because it's really just a term that people still use, but legally it is not a thing anymore. And then there's just people that might get offended by some stuff. But if you're just wearing like an Army t-shirt, like especially like the physical fitness uniform, like either the old gray ones or the new black ones that have the yellow writing, nobody's gonna probably care. It's usually sometimes just people are gonna ask questions when you're wearing a full-on Army uniform, like a current one. Like I said, it's not necessarily illegal, because that's been repealed, but people are gonna ask you questions, and you're probably gonna get some unnecessary attention for it. And there's also people out there that don't know that it's not illegal anymore, and that'll give you a hard time. So you have to be aware of that as well. Can you do a video on prior service members? Maybe at some point. I don't have a whole lot of experience with that. Some of that would have to come from research or talking to a few people, because I know some people that have done that have transferred from like Marines to the Army or Navy or somewhere else, But maybe at some point. I don't know how soon that could be though. Good night. Well, thank you, Southern Sun, for hanging out. Good night to you. Hey, Chaos, I'm transitioning from Air Force to Army as prior enlisted. Have you known anyone that has made this transition? Any tips? Only worry I have is I won't be able to keep my legacy retirement. That should still all transfer over for retirement stuff. I don't think any of that will change. I think you should still be alright with that. I believe. I'm pretty sure. Army Recruiter could tell you for sure, but I would think that would still transfer over. For Air Force, I don't know if I've known anybody who went from Air Force. Yeah, well, yeah, there was one guy. There was a guy that I had in my last unit. He was prior Air Force and came Army. And from what I understand, because I don't know a whole lot of Air Force stuff, my niece was in the Air Force, and I've known some people that be in the Air Force. And I think that guy who, was fairly recently out of the Air Force coming to the Army, he definitely said it was a little bit tougher compared to what he was doing in the Air Force. So be kind of ready for that, especially physically. I don't think they do quite the same kind of, organized physical fitness in the Air Force like the Army does. So be aware of that and kind of be ready for a lot more physical fitness, like especially in the morning and stuff. So that'll probably be one of the big things. But I would think your the legacy retirement stuff should still transfer over and you should be okay. You elected for legacy retirement before you left. It should, I think it should transfer over. An Army Recruiter will tell you for sure, because I'm not too familiar with the legacy retirement format, because that's more of a newer format of retirement, and so I'm not too kind of familiar with it too well. But I would talk to a recruiter, or an Army Recruiter would be able to tell you if that stuff's going to transfer over. I would think it would though, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm currently 16, 17 on November 28th. Sorry if I confuse. Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, Eduardo. Chris, have you done a 2-Minute Tuesday on how long a person can stay in the Army? I have. That was not too long ago. That was probably, what, 2 or 3 Tuesdays ago? So I have a playlist. If you go to my channel, I have a playlist for 2 Minute Tuesdays, and there's a I think that 2 Minute Tuesday is called Army Contract, something like that. Army Contracts, something like that. But it basically, in that video, it talks about the minimum and maximum lengths of contracts, and also in there I mentioned the maximum length that you can stay in the Army, which, see if I remember off the top of my head, 63. I don't think you can be in the Army past the age of 63. So that's mainly the main thing, is your age. Not necessarily years, because it just kind of depends. But once you get to the age of 63, they will force you to retire. I believe. I think that's what it was. But in that video, it tells you. So check out that 2 Minute Tuesday. It's talking about Army contracts. And it talks about that, yeah. So, hey Chris, I got an 86 on my ASVAB, qualified for submarine electronics computer field in the Navy. Any advice on getting into better shape? Just working out. It sounds stupid, but really it works. You know, doing a lot of cardio. Cardio is really a big piece of being in the military, usually. But cardio usually helps you with a lot of other areas as well. But doing a lot of cardio really helps. And being in good shape by doing a lot of cardio makes it easier to do the other things like push-ups and sit-ups and all that kind of stuff. So I think make your big focus towards cardio, because it'll help you with the other areas as well. Is it possible to do a split op in the reserves, and is it possible to have 2-year contract with the reserves? So they have contracts that you can do if you want to, like, say, split it up to where so many years are going to be active and so many years are going to be in the reserves. I don't remember what those are called. I think they have bonuses for that as well, if you want to do that option. They have like a bonus, I think, that you can do, because you're basically guaranteeing that you're going to be this many years active and then this many years in the reserves. And they like that, and I think they reward you for it by offering you a bonus to do that. But yeah, I believe there's an option that you can do that with. You should do a video on the Army's Old Guard, possibly at some point. I'm not very familiar with the Old Guard, so I would have to do some research on it to be able to know. Wheelchair 54 says, I had a guy in AIT that was Canadian. Did you have many from foreign countries with you? No. The only time I ever had anyone from a foreign country was when I was in Korea. We had, other Korean Army guys that were with us, in Korea. But I think that's the only case really of doing that. And Swiss. We had some Swiss people. They worked with us up where we were at. So that was, I think, really the only ones, though. Can I be an 11 Bravo airborne and be in a vehicle unit? It's tough for 11 Bravo to probably be, I don't know. You have to be in like a mechanized infantry unit to be able to have vehicles. Otherwise, most infantry units don't have a lot of vehicles, maybe like 1 or 2 Humvees, and only a few people have that. But with an infantry, like a mechanized infantry unit, they'll have Strikers or Humvees or something along those lines. But I don't know if those are airborne units, so I'm not really too sure on that. Might be a little difficult. Chris, I'm going to sign up to be one of your Patreon members. Well, thank you. Do I need to provide them any banking information or use debit card or what? I don't see the information for how to be one. I'm not too familiar with it because, to be honest, I have never actually gone through the process of doing it. Let me see. I have it up right now. It should, so when you go to patreon.com/ChristopherChaos, you hit become a member, asks for your full name, your email, and then it should ask for a payment method. I think you can use PayPal. I think you use a debit card. I'm not 100% sure on how it works. I'm sorry, because I've never been on that end of Patreon to really know too well. But if there's any problems, hit me up. I'll figure it out for you. If you really have a hard time trying to do it, just shoot me a message like on like Instagram or something like that, or whatever social media you have. Just shoot me a message and I'll figure it out for you if you really have a hard time. Can you request Poland for a duty station? Probably not right off the bat. I don't know if they have any. Do we have any permanent bases in Poland? I don't think we have any permanent bases in Poland. I think Poland's more of like a temporary assignment, because we'll have units where they go and they will go on like a 6-month deployment to Poland and do some training in Poland, but I don't know if that's I don't know if they have that available as a permanent duty station kind of a thing. So that might be kind of tough. What do you know about chaplain's assistant? Not a whole lot. I've known a few of them. They, just like the name says, assist the chaplains, organize stuff for, like, you know, Bible study and prayer time, and just kind of, sometimes they're also usually the driver for the chaplain for whatever Humvee or whatever vehicle the chaplain has, which is usually a Humvee. They're usually the driver for the chaplain as well. So I don't know a whole lot about it. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, the recruiter said it should, but knowing the military, who knows? LOL. But yeah, I'm ready to go. Army way of life seems to suit me better with the mandatory PT, etc. Well, awesome. Well, good luck to you. Hopefully everything works out well. Yeah, hopefully everything transfers over and you don't have any kind of issues with that whole retirement stuff. But yeah, I would imagine it should. Do you know anything about the new PT tests for the Army? I know quite a bit-ish. I know, you know, like, I don't have memorized the events, but there's, what, 5 events? It will take a little bit longer to complete. The run time has been shortened. It's going to be based on what type of unit you're in, not really necessarily the MOS, but if you're in like an infantry unit, you're going to have a higher standard compared to if you're in like a transportation unit or something lighter. So those standards are kind of set based on the type of unit you're in, and also a lot of other factors. I think the music stopped. I don't know why the music stopped. There we go. We got it going again. Music stopped in the background. I was waiting for it to like kick over to the next song, but it never did. Hey, I plan to enlist once I'm out of high school. I'm currently a junior. Is there any options that I can pursue to advance myself during my summer before my senior year? I would recommend talking to a recruiter about the delayed entry program, and also the future soldier program. Those are 2 different programs you can do. I think the future soldier program might be more suitable, because I mean, the delayed entry program, you have to kind of already enlist to get into that. But the future soldier program can be a great program, and you learn a lot, and you go through the training, you could advance a little bit in rank. So I would talk to a recruiter about how to get involved with the future soldier program if available in your area. How long can you be a sergeant before you get forced out? A Sergeant E5 type would be 15 years. If you are a sergeant and you are approaching that 15-year mark, you're going to have to get promoted to a staff sergeant, or they're going to force you to get out of the Army at that point. Congrats on 25,000K. Thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys, because I can't do it without you guys. Otherwise, I would be just in that same boat that I was over a year ago, where I was making videos for a nobody or for a very small audience. So thank you guys for being awesome and watching and subscribing and all that fun stuff. I heard acne can disqualify you. Is that true? I don't know. Maybe if it was severe enough. I've known people that have had like acne in the Army, but I don't know. A recruiter could tell you for sure on that. But I don't know. Am I friends with Matt Ward? I'm not enemies with Matt Ward, but I don't actually know Matt Ward personally. I've talked to him a few times, like on a live stream and in comments of videos, but that's about as far as it goes. Seems cool, but I don't actually know him personally. If you want to learn an exercise routine, talk to one of your recruiters and ask for an exercise routine for you to do. I asked and they put me on a plan to help me prepare for boot camp. There you go. There's some great advice from Eduardo. What was it? KT has joined the Chaos Army. If you are here in the live chat and the live stream, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, so there you go. Eduardo gives some good advice right there. He's currently in the Future Soldier program. It sounds like they have some pretty cool stuff. Was it Pablo? Thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing if you are here in Chaos Live. How strong is the Chinese military? I have no idea. What are all the units a person can be in? There's a lot. I don't know if I can name all of them. There's a lot of variations of different units that an individual could end up in. Let's see. Josh. Oh, okay, now. I don't know why you're asking how strong the Chinese military is. I have no idea how strong the Chinese military is. What's the difference between 11 Bravo and 11 X-Ray? Just wondering because I'm going in and I still don't know the difference. 11 Bravo is the actual MOS of being an infantryman. 11 X-Ray is the identifier that you would receive prior to going. So when you were trying to be an 11 Bravo, you're going to have to go in as an 11 X-Ray. So you go in as an 11 X-Ray, and then while you're in OSIT, they determine if you're going to be an 11 Bravo or if you're going to be a 11 Charlie. So you don't really get to just automatically be an 11 Bravo. That's really what an 11 X-Ray is. It's just the basic identifier, and then once you go to OSIT, they're going to determine whether you become an 11 Bravo or an 11 Charlie. I don't think the Army does waivers so good. Is that what you were saying? Waivers can be complicated. What is the lowest rank you can retire at? Staff Sergeant, probably. You'd have to at least be a Staff Sergeant, because I think the Staff Sergeant... I don't remember what the... it's called RCP. I forget what it stands for. But RCP requirements is what tells you what rank before they're going to make you get out of the Army. So if you look up, like, if you do a Google search or something like that for Army RCP time frame or something along those lines, maybe you probably get the answers probably from somewhere. But I want to say Staff Sergeant is either 20 years or 20-something years. So you could technically, I think, retire as a Staff Sergeant in E6, but probably nothing lower than that. So E6 might be the lowest. How is the food in the Army? It's pretty good. I did a 2-Minute Tuesday video on it. If you want a little bit more in-depth explanation than that, then go check out 2-Minute Tuesday for food in the Army. Would visible scarring disqualify you at all? Probably not. I wouldn't think so. I've seen people that have some pretty gnarly scars in the Army that they had prior to, so I wouldn't think so. What is the difference between a specialist and a corporal? They are the same pay grade, but the corporal is a junior NCO. Yeah, so really just the responsibility. Yeah, they're making the same, but a corporal is usually more of a leadership position. So often they will promote a specialist to a corporal if they are maybe, you know, soon going to become a sergeant, or maybe they're just not quite on all the requirements for a sergeant, but they're still capable of being in that kind of leadership role. Then sometimes they'll promote a specialist to a corporal. I was promoted to a corporal because they needed people to do some leadership duties. Didn't have enough, you know, NCOs to do that, and I ended up being a corporal for like a whole month before getting promoted to sergeant. So there's a lot of different kind of situations that someone could get promoted to corporal, but yeah, basically it's kind of like you're still an E4 or a specialist, but you're doing the job of a sergeant, kind of a thing. So it's kind of like getting the same pay for more responsibility. It's really what it is. National Guard recruiter emailed me yesterday, but I sent for information 6 months ago. Sometimes it's better just to go talk to an actual recruiter. Emailing one can sometimes be a little bit kind of tricky. Warren Straley, thank you for subscribing, and welcome to the Chaos Army if you are here in the Chaos Live. Can you do a MOS on 11? Mike is a firefighter. Is it a firefighter? I'm not too familiar, but okay. Eventually I will get to that probably on MOS Monday, but it depends on, like, I'm going to try to hit up all the MOSs that other people will try to request for first, and try to hit those ones kind of first before I get to some of the more obscure ones. Chris, how does the super chat work here? There should be like a little $sign, I think, down on the chat area, and if you click on that, you have to have a debit card or a PayPal or something linked to your YouTube account to be able to do so, and you can choose an amount that you would like to donate, and then it pops up, and then it makes my lights blink inside of here as well. But I've never done a super chat, so I can't tell you too well. Were you a mean NCO? I don't think so. I think it was pretty cool. Hopefully. I would hope so anyways. Apparently they have done away with 11 Hotel, which was a tow gunner. Yeah, the only 11 series they currently have is 11 Bravo and 11 Charlie. They don't have, I don't think, anything else other than those two 11 series. You should do story time, but daily. Daily, so I would run out of stories quick. I don't think I have that many stories to daily do. I'll probably do another story time soon. That'll probably be a Wednesday video. It probably won't be this Wednesday, maybe next Wednesday or the weekend or the Wednesday after that, but those type of videos will probably be like a Wednesday type of thing. But I do plan on doing some more like story time style videos, but I don't think I'd be able to do it daily. I think I would run out of stories way too quick. What was your favorite weapon to fire on range day? I only really fired a few, but 240 Bravo is pretty cool. I like the 240 Bravo. It's not quite as much work as the 50 cal, because 50 cal has a lot of other little things like the headspace and timing that you have to get properly set up before you can fire it, you know, without it jamming. Where the 240 Bravo is a pretty good, you know, machine gun to be able to fire. So probably a 240 Bravo. It's pretty cool. Do you know how Fort Lee is for AIT? I do not. I have never been to Fort Lee, so I won't be able to help you with that. Almost out of time. We're approaching that 1 hour mark, so only probably a few more questions to go through before we're going to run out of time. But if you're enjoying this, make sure you've hit that thumbs up button. If you're hanging out and you're having a good time here in Chaos Live, make sure to show some love to that little thumbs up guy. Since I've been in JROTC for 4 years, do I get in as a higher rank? Yeah, usually you probably either get E2 or E3. I think it just depends. But usually you won't have to come in as an E1. You probably get to come in a little bit higher rank than, you know, everybody else. So that helps a little bit. What's the difference between 91 Bravo and a 12 Bravo? I don't know. I would have to look at the two and compare them. So I can't really tell you a good answer right off the top for you. Sorry. What's the difference between staff duty and CQ? Really the location. CQ is done in the barracks. So it's basically making sure that soldiers are doing the right thing in the barracks. Visitors aren't in the barracks past, you know, visiting hour time. Nothing else is going on in the barracks. You know, people playing music past the, you know, too loud, and if there was some kind of, you know, fire going on, you'd be able to report it to the authorities. So CQ is mainly done inside the barracks for that kind of purpose, whereas staff duty is done at the battalion or the brigade. There's brigade staff duty, and there's also battalion staff duty. I think they even have division staff duty, and that's a little bit just working in those headquarters buildings, answering the phone for people that are calling looking for somebody, and then kind of the same kind of along those same lines of kind of making sure nothing happens in that building, nobody tries to break into it at night. You know, if something happened, like if something caught on fire, you can report it. But then you also have usually the responsibility of periodically having to go check on the motor pools to make sure the motor pools are locked up and nobody is trying to break in the motor pools or something like that. So you do like these random checks. And then also they usually do random checks on the barracks as well to check on the CQ. So that's kind of a generic difference between staff duty and CQ. Hopefully that helps. Hey Chris, this might sound weird, but could you roast the supreme leader of North Korea? I doubt it. You're asking if I could? It's not really what I do on this channel, so it's probably not something I would be doing on this channel. Do they still use Claymore mines? I believe so. Yeah, I don't think... I mean, I don't know how often they use Claymores. It's probably... There's not a whole lot of situations like with Iraq and Afghanistan. There probably wouldn't be a whole lot of situations they would really deploy a Claymore mine in that kind of a situation. So the Army still has Claymore mines, and they use them like in training situations. But as far as real life situations, like in a combat type of environment, I don't know how often it would be used really. So, but yeah, I don't think they've really necessarily done away with them. Why is this channel so awesome? I don't know. Because you guys are awesome. That's really what makes this channel awesome, is you guys. I love that you guys, you know, show so much support for me, so I'm very grateful for that. And you guys help me kind of come up with ideas for content based on things you're interested in that sometimes I would not think of without you. So the real reason is you. You are why this channel is awesome, hopefully. So there you go. So we are now at the 1 hour mark. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit that thumbs up button on this video. Make sure to do so. If you're not subscribed to this channel, then you definitely should at least consider it. Maybe check out some of my other videos. If you're still on the fence, you're like, I don't know if this guy's worth it, then definitely check out some of my other videos. I do have some stuff that you can check out as well if you want to go and check out ChristopherChaos.com. This is my website. I've got more stuff on there, including t-shirts if you're interested in that. Looks like there's a sale going on for the next 3 days to get 18% off. That makes some of these t-shirts a little bit cheaper if you want a basic, Chaos t-shirt. Like, here you go. Normally $15.49. You can get, a little bit off, 18% off if you like. There's a lot of other good stuff that I've got on this kind of channel. Not channel, but this website. So if you want to check that out, you can. Then I have the Patreon, which is available right here. So if you want to do that, I have some different perks that are available for Patreon members. So you can get early access to videos. You can find out about videos while I'm kind of like working on them. So you find out what videos are coming up next. And probably a lot of other things that I'll probably add in to try to make it a little bit better for anybody who's interested in the Patreon and all that kind of fun stuff. So a lot of other opportunities. Got these social media links. Was it right over there-ish? Right up there if you want to follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter. I don't really use Twitter too much, but a lot of the stuff that I post like on Instagram usually kind of transfer over to Twitter anyways. So those are areas you can. I do have Snapchat, but I rarely use Snapchat. I would say Instagram is probably a better place to kind of follow me there. So yeah, so that's my social media. That's all my stuff. I guess that's it. Thanks for hanging out. You guys are awesome. You guys rule. We'll probably do this again on Sunday, so there'll be another live stream on Sunday. I have videos that I have to finish editing for tomorrow's Military Monday, 2-Minute Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday video. I don't know if it'll be this Wednesday or next Wednesday, though. Probably be like kind of answering some questions from the comment section of videos. And then Thursday's video is going to be talking about the ASVAB, so be on the lookout for that. And then we'll be back for another Chaos Live, hopefully on Sunday. So you guys are awesome. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.